Hi, this is Cheryl back with you from Farmhouse Frugally. Today I'm doing something a little different. My husband and I went to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I thought you might like to check that out. We live close to Salem, Mass, and Weymouth, Mass, and Plymouth, Mass, which are very famous. But Portsmouth, New Hampshire, also settled in 1623, is a beautiful place to visit right along the coast, right on the border of Maine. And there is a place here called Prescott Park that has the most spectacular flower gardens. Every year they get in there and they just make this park look absolutely gorgeous. Ton of perennials, and they add new annuals all the time, and then they do roses. Sometimes the whole thing is just all roses. It's just remarkable. So whenever we're in the area, it's a little over an hour from our home, I like to get out and take some pictures of this beautiful park, Prescott Park, right on the coast. And here's my husband right there. And then I was just looking up some of the history. There is a place across the street called Strawberry Bank, and they moved a lot of the antique homes over the course of time into that historic museum, and you can tour the homes, which we've done a number of times. And today I thought I would take you along just for some of the exterior look of these buildings. But here in this park across the street, Prescott Park, after I took pictures of the gardens, I just went along to the edge of the coast just to show you the naval shipyard across the way. It is partly New Hampshire and partly Maine. You can see the harbor right there. And I have a nephew that works there. It is just historic area, and it is just kind of a cool place to visit. They have some phenomenal restaurants and live music and theater and plays and lots to do in Portsmouth. It's a wonderful place to vacation or to visit. It would be lovely to live there if you don't mind close quarters and if you have about $1 million, because it's very, very costly, but certainly a beautiful place to visit. So this is the edge of the park, and then there's this fountain, and then across the way, Strawberry Bank. We did not tour inside again today. We've been there a number of times, but just in walking around, we thought you'd appreciate these buildings, most of which were built in the 16 and 1700s. There's all kinds of beautiful styles, a lot of brick, a lot of clapboard. I love the color on this one, that's salmon. So beautiful. Some are still private residences on the outskirts of this street, but many are in the museum, and you can go in and tour, and they have people still acting out, like cooking and gardening and things like that, as if they were still in colonial times. So it's similar in a small way to Williamsburg, Virginia, if you've ever been there, which I absolutely love. That is right up my alley. They called it Strawberry Bank because on the bank of the Piscataqua River, there was numerous strawberries growing, and then eventually it changed its name to Portsmouth once they founded it as a town. There's a lot of rich history. If you want to Google it, you could find some pretty interesting things about it. And I would say we are probably an hour from Weymouth, Mass, and from Salem, Mass, and Plymouth, Mass, where the Mayflower landed. Also a live museum. I took my son there many years ago when we homeschooled. And then after we left Portsmouth, we like to drive down the coast, the Route 1A, and that just takes you into some of the other towns, into Rye Beach and into Northampton Beach, and then Hampton Beach. Hampton Beach is typically the area that we go to when we are just going to, head to the beach and take a swim. So that's what we ended up doing yesterday. The weather was absolutely perfect, about 80 degrees on the coast, beautiful breeze. The waves were really high because tonight is the full moon, and that is about the highest that you can get. This is a home Farrah Fawcett owned, so we've been told growing up here back in the day. A number of these homes along the coast are just absolutely gorgeous, multi-million-dollar homes. If only I was a multi-millionaire. I would absolutely love to live on the coast, especially in this area. It is just absolutely spectacular. I love Savannah, Georgia as well. There's many other places I've been to that I love, but this is home. So after we went here, there was Seafood Fest in Hampton Beach, so it was a bit of a madhouse, fireworks and a full moon. But this is what the other side of the road, away from those houses, looks like. Now, this is my inspiration, these beautiful pumpkins that is growing here in our area for this old tin sign that I've had for quite some time. It has the Eiffel Tower on it and the paper's ripped off. So this is the back side of this sign, and it stands over 3 feet tall. So what I wanted to do, I couldn't get the paper off, so I took some Rust-Oleum primer and I just shot that with the primer first just to cover up some of it, and then took some white spray paint and went over that a few times, and then a brush and some antiquing wax and some more white paint, and just kind of went back and forth over this sign until I could get that. I loved the tin on the edges, the antiquing wax, bringing that out, and then here I ended up just pouncing it with a little Annie Sloan white after the spray paint. It wasn't quite dark enough, so I just used some Annie Sloan chalked paint here. I knew I was going to have to spray poly over this anyways when I'm finished, because I'm going to want to keep this outside. So this took a little bit of time to keep layering this until I got the effect that I was looking for. And then once that was completely dry, I purchased this beautiful decoupage paper from Roycycle on Etsy. And I wanted to do something with those pumpkins. And so I took out the Mod Podge and a brush, and I tore with my hands all the pumpkins on that decoupage paper, and then laid it out the way that I wanted it to go, because as I said, this is over 3 feet tall. And then I want the stems to show, so I knew it was going to be a little tricky the way I had to layer it. So I first put down the big one on the bottom, but kept the stem forward. When I added the second pumpkin in blue, then I was able to decoupage part of that down and go back on the first pumpkin, the orange pumpkin, and decoupage the stem up over the blue here. And this is upside down, but you get the idea. Then when I was finished with most of the blue, I folded the blue forward, put the green pumpkin, and then on until all 4 of the pumpkins were decoupaged, first under and then over, so that they would be nice and glued down onto this tin. Now I thought I was going to use some antiquing wax on the edges of these pumpkins, but I like the way that it came out. I can always do that later if I change my mind. So I did go over it with the Rust-Oleum and put a couple coats of that over it so that I'd be able to keep it on my front steps. And here it is with one of those lovely pumpkins and a simple wreath. And that is all there is to it. I hope that you'll let me know what you think of it. And also, here are the pretty little pumpkins I made recently. I will link this video as well if you didn't see it. And I want to say thank you for stopping by. Thank you for all of your support and your wonderful comments. I appreciate how it helps my channel to grow. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.